Hello, this is Kelly Hammond, and welcome to the Resiliency Coach Podcast. This podcast showcases people who have faced difficult times and how they got through it. These experiences are real and sometimes raw. The people who share their stories are here to tell you that you're not alone in your struggle. They share the tools and resources they use in healing. If you're looking for solutions for getting through tough times, contact us at www.resiliency.coach. Today, I'm interviewing Poulomi Ghosh, and she helps women with unconventional dreams find their own tribe, feel validated, and grow their own business worldwide with the power of her words. She's also an email copywriter. So, Poulomi, thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you so much, Kelly, for having me, firstly. This is a platform where we are allowed to share our story and really make our listeners feel like they are not alone. So I'm really, really glad to have this opportunity. Okay, so my story. Let's just start with the fact that I had a different light, not a light that the people around me were aware about, that the people around me appreciated, that the people around me liked it. They did not like the way I was since childhood. I acted different. I was not so studious in my curriculum throughout my school. I used to talk a lot, according to them. So I was very, very soon tagged as the rebel kid. So I used to argue a lot, question a lot, raise my voice, and that was not really appreciated. So that's something that got in until my teenage years. And then the only person who used to understand my half words, half voice, my mom, she passed away due to cancer. And now I was kind of left apart, not knowing what to do with the world. And I was still naive. I used to think that the world is a good place. I was trying to figure out help through my relatives, through people around me, which did not really turn out to be very good because they did not like my light. They did not like the way I was. They tried to dim me out a bit. So, for instance, I loved swimming a lot. But when I was in class seventh, my mom couldn't take me out to swimming lessons anymore. So I was dropped out. My light was told to be dimmed, and I was like, okay, fine, I won't go to swimming. When I was in class eight, when my mom passed away, I had these yearly auditions for my dance sessions in school. And for that, I had to stay back after school. I wasn't allowed for that. No staying back after school. So again, my light was dim. I was removed from my swimming and my dancing both. As I was growing in my ninth and 10th standard, I realized that I was not really interested in the subjects that they wanted me to pursue. According to them, my mom wanted me to pursue medicals. And A, I was not a studious kid, and B, I was not that interested. But that pressure that my mom wanted me to do something, and she's not here anymore, so I couldn't really go back and refer this thing to someone that but I don't want to do it. Like, now what to do about it? So I kept on with that. I did my 11th and 12th. That's secondary school out here. I gave my exams. I gave my medical exam, like the qualification exams to become a medico. Couldn't clear through that. So the hopes for me were pretty low, being the rebel kid. It was always compared to the fact that I would actually be of no good. I would actually make nothing out of my career, my life, like absolutely nothing. So while all these things was happening in my teenage years, I couldn't really find an outlet. Like, I was feeling all these things. As I said, I always used to question a lot of things in whatever was happening around me. That is when I started writing, when I was in class 8th. I started writing using words from the thesaurus. so that people won't understand what I was trying to say. Like such complicated words I was using just to, like, it was a simple line, but I used to, Google up every word possible in the thesaurus and just change it up all totally so that people won't understand what I was trying to say. So my vocabulary went good, but now when I read it, even I'm like, doesn't make any sense. But yeah, that's how I started writing poetries when I was in class 8th. I started expressing through that. My literature got strong, my expressions got strong. And now, when I look back into my human design, I am driven by emotions. With my emotional authority, I'm done that. So, no wonder I was feeling so many things, like, not really understanding how to deal with these feelings, like sudden outbursts of anger, frustration, emotional. I was always crying when I was trying to explain myself, when I was trying to even show my anger, frustration, whatever. I used to tear up. Even now, I tear up. It's like, okay, I'm angry, but I'm just crying. So yeah, I couldn't understand why am I like this, because everybody was saying I'm different. I'm rebel. I'm the black sheep of the family. I cannot do anything of these. So these were kind of the terms that were used for me. Um, and then another incident happened in my family, that since when I was in class 6th or 7th, I was sexually assaulted as well. Now, the time when I was sexually assaulted, I did not even realize that was a sexual assault because we were not even educated about it. But when I grew up, I realized what happened, and the person was still there, still trying to do similar things. I couldn't speak up for myself. Then my school happened. Now, the good thing that happened when I couldn't clear out my medical was I was not allowed to drop a year. I was like, you have to go to college. It doesn't matter which college you go to. Now, that was my ticket. I'm like, okay, fine. Let's just, apply for English honors, literature everywhere possible. I just want to go out from the town. I want to go out because everybody in my family, everybody who know me, stay very close in the locality. So it's like anytime anybody just drops in and put their opinion and just go away, I'm like, what to do about it? So yeah, that's when I took my college admissions approximately 500 kilometers away from where I stay. So I started my college life there. I took my graduation in journalism and mass communication. Out there, on the first year, I started doing leadership training. For almost a year, I was trained leadership. I was doing a lot of events under that space, and I learned how to channelize my professional space. So from the early time, I was very professional. I started reselling just to earn those tiny pocket money when I was in 11th and 12th, because I never liked asking for money, but I needed money to go out with my friends. So it's like I started reselling clothes that I don't really use. That's how I started my first business. Um, then I just stopped it. Okay, enough. Like 12th ended, and when I went to college, it's done. It's done. In college, after my leadership training was done, I started going to other sort of MUNs, like there are various kind of international conferences that are held in every college. So I started going there, and I started representing the press out here, like the mock presses out there. So I started writing there as well. That's how I started creating samples for my current business, my writing business. That's on the professional realm. Professionally, I was pretty stable, and I was very head forced towards what I want to do. I want to earn, I want to be independent. There was always this drive that I want to prove to these people that I'm not a black sheep. I'm not rebellious. It's just that I'm unconventional, but I am not unworthy. That zeal was always there in me. um, and then by the time college second year happened, I saw the same person who sexually assaulted me. He was trying different things around with younger people around me. And I was like, that couldn't happen. So I tried to speak up, which led to a huge chaos, like a huge chaos. Ultimately, did not lead to anything. But that's when I realized that me being vocal in front of these people is not gonna help. It's like they have closed their ears, eyes, everything possible. So now I need to go out and be vocal in a bigger platform first so that they can finally be forced to open their eyes and ears and everything possible in this planet. Um, because what I want to do is I want to do for my next gen people. I have people who are younger to me in their teens, in their early 20s, telling me that they want to do something else. But things like medical, things like engineering, things like law school are kind of becoming the gateway for them to do something else. So much so that they are being pressurized. They are in such traumatic conditions I cannot even explain, just to get that college, just to get that one thing. I'm not even exaggerating. This one person did not suicide. That's more than enough. I don't know how she's surviving, but she is going through that. Um, Such toxic conditions, and the fact that these family prestige, family name, just because they don't understand the light that we have, is takes up a toll upon us, and it becomes our responsibility. And the amount of emotional blackmail that happens, that we have spent so much on you, we have done so much for you, we want you to do this. That's very bad in this geographical area. I believe that's more or less there throughout the world, but especially in this geographical area, it's very, very relevant. That even though the online industry has boomed up so much, there is so much of mental restrictiveness, mindset restrictiveness, that we are not allowed to express ourselves. Anything that's different than our light, anything that's unconventional is never accepted, is never appreciated, is never supported. It's just doing on our own. So, coming back to my story, I did it on my own. A lot of times, like, I started on my own. I started my own Instagram page and everything. I started posting my poetries out there. So my dad has been the biggest supporter in my life, I would say. He's the only person who is very, very open minded. He has supported me throughout, but in my teenage years we did not have that good communication, because I was still struggling to communicate how I was feeling to anybody. I was just like moms are different. Like, you say half of the sentence, they just understand the half of the other half. So I was not good with my communication. So it took me until the end of my college to finally be um, very communicative with my dad. So he has been very supportive, but it's just that I would say it was a fault from my end, that I was not being able to communicate better. It took time for me to learn that thing. Um, so in my early college time, as I said, I started alone. I was not communicating anything to dad. I was just working on my own. I was just writing on my own, consumed on my own thoughts. Um, but somehow or the other, that zeal, that you do not have any other alternative, that there are 10,000 voices who are telling you that you cannot do it. Now you have two choices. Either you can become that one voice which is strongest than those 10,000 voices, or you can add up to those 10,000 voices. Now, adding up to those 10,000 voices was not really helping me out, was just causing more and more anxiety to me. So I'm like, okay, fine. Let's just make our voice stronger and stronger and stronger. So I won't say I'm there yet. I won't say I'm like, oh yeah, now nothing affects me. It does. But I started doing that. I started making my voice so strong. I started stroking my own hair at night. I started, patting my own back, and really being there for myself when nobody else did. Um, I was doing that unconsciously, but now I really subconsciously and consciously started doing that, being there for myself, because I did not want to add up to those 10,000 voices present in this planet. Um, so I just started talking myself into the situations. I started pushing myself bit by bit. a bit more, seeing the opportunities where I could actually connect with people who are unconventional. That's when I started connecting with people globally. And then I saw each and every one is unconventional. I don't understand the concept of ordinary or normal, because I'm like, heck, who is normal? What is normal even? Because there is no one definition to normal. Each and every one of us is different. Each and every one of our light is different. So how can you say what's normal and what's not normal? So that's when even my perspective grew, that I became more inclusive, because I saw a lot of things which I did not see before. I communicated with a lot of people who had such experiences that I could never think of. So that helped me to become more humble, um, and really have a stronger vision to become the voice for my next gen people, especially out here, who struggle to find their voice, who struggle to believe that they can be unconventional, who feel that being unconventional is sort of a barrier, that you will never find your tribe. This is something that even I struggled with. Like, when you are just different, you kind of feel left out. Like, I did have friends, but I couldn't really find anyone who was exact match with what I was thinking or something. So even I was not finding my own tribe until now, when I can actually know how to find my own tribe, where I can actually communicate and be more vocal about it and ask for help. That is another major problem that we have, that we do not ask for help. Especially, I feel with girls, we have this thing, we tend to solve our own problems. But just the mere act of being a bit more vulnerable and asking for help when in the right space, in the safe space, it's so better. It's so better. Like, you never really know in those safe spaces with whom you can connect and who can do what. Like, networking is, I believe, the eighth ninth wonder in this world, because it's magical. Like, yeah, some days you just meet people who are just, the gradually the thing happen. That is also beautiful. Some days it's just, you just meet someone and it just clicks, like you have been together for like what, like births after births, you're just together. So yeah, just taking that one step to be out there and be vulnerable, of course in safe spaces. But when you find that space is safe, just be a bit vulnerable and ask for whatever you needed. It makes things so simple. And definitely you find your tribe out there, and you don't feel that being unconventional becomes a barrier. Unconventional is never a barrier. It just describes what you bring into the table is something that nobody else will bring into the table. Nobody else. So, your light is just unique. It's different. It's beautiful. And that's what I want to, really, really establish, really create a voice for. Um, that's pretty much it, I guess, about my story.
I like it. I like it a lot. And so, what I heard you say, what helped you, the tools that helped you, were self affirmation. So, telling yourself, there were those two different voices. There was the majority, or those 10,000 voices you were talking about, that were outside of you, and then the voice inside you. And you could either have the voice inside you echo the words of the majority, or have its own place and its own voice. So that's one thing I heard you say. Then the other thing that helped you was to be able to connect with people that were others similar to you, networking with other people. Was there anything else that helped you to be able to find your voice and to be able to get through your difficulty?
So I would say it is important to have an outlet. For me, the outlet for my emotions was writing, in form of poems, in form of proses, in form of blogging, emails, whatever you want to call it. Writing is my jam. For you, it necessarily won't be writing. It can be writing. It can be anything else. Writing, painting, music, art, dance, karate, rock climbing, anything possible in this planet. But you definitely need a space where you can have that outlet. Because we human beings, we came alone, we are going to go alone. So I won't say that depend upon that one person who can be your outlet. Be dependent on yourself, and instead of that, just have those habits or have those practices that you can depend on, that's like home to you, that's like comfort to you. So yeah, and that writing definitely helped me. I would say any sort of outlet would definitely help my listeners to understand.
Great. I love it. I've heard often, actually, a lot of the people that I've interviewed talk about journaling, which is writing. And some actually have talked about art also. But I love the concept that you find your own space. I like how you said it, that you find your own space where it's like coming home. It's where you find
Yeah.
that comfort. And I like that concept.
Just in reference to my culture out here, the common people, we do strive a lot upon family name and prestige, and just to maintain that sort of situation. So academic excellency is very, very important. It's very important out here. It's like the more the better, and it can never be enough. It's like if you score 99%, and why not 100? It's that level of excellency that people strive for. And especially, as I said, that the family name and prestige comes in the picture. So it's like, if there is some sort of a job which is paying a lot, suppose medical, that's paying you a lot, yes, payment is good, but that comes secondary. But the fact that my child is a doctor, that comes primary. So that is something that's focused so much that it becomes like traumatic, it becomes stressful for us, so much so that, as I said, there are people around me who have eating disorders because of that pressure that this person is going through right now. But that thing is invalidated in the family, saying that, oh, she's just doing her own drama. So yeah, it's invalidated to such an extent. And this is, I won't generalize it to a huge extent, but this is common at least in 70% of the households in Indian family, who are in the higher who are in the higher end of the society. They kind of do give the freedom that you're talking about in the American culture, that whatever you want to do, you can do. But I cannot speak a lot on their behalf, because I do not belong to that. So there is only so much that I am aware of. But yes, I believe that the pressure is bit low, not so much, but a bit low. But definitely in the regular household, like the common, like 60 to 70%, it's very, very, very high. Expectations are very high out here. So yeah, I am still. So I would say anxiety has been a friend of mine who is good and bad, I would say. The good part of anxiety is that it helped me to be on time. It helped me to be on punctual. It helped me to plan a lot, and like to imagine all the case scenarios so that I'm better prepared for everything possible. But when anxiety was not really in control of me, I used to overplan and think and think and think, so much so that it used to energetically drain me out a lot. Okay. So this started happening in my professional background as well, when I was up leveling in my business, because that happens, I feel, with every business owner. You're just like, a lot of up leveling comes with a lot of change in your mental state, your mindset, and everything. So in India, since we were said that money is hard, there's a scarcity of everything possible in this planet. Uh, and of course, I couldn't do it, being the rebel girl. There was least expectations. So that took a very huge toll on me. I was not being able to, and on top of that, I'm emotional. So I was not being able to control all these things together, like my emotions, my anxiety, and all these expectations that I was building on myself, nobody else, that but I was being alone, that I wanted to prove to them that, okay, I'm not unworthy. um, Took some time, in fact a lot. I did had to seek therapy for at least a few months to really untangle my childhood stories, the kind of stories I had. A lot of stories related to my mom, because I'm so connected to her, but I never really realized that I was going through all these things because of the stories that I was telling myself related to her. So that's a lot of therapeutic and psychological thing. I don't want to dive deep into that. But if you feel that you are telling yourself some stories repeatedly, or you're not being able to figure a way out, maybe it's because of some very tangled balls from your childhood. So it's good to seek therapy. And it's really good to seek therapy. So I started seeking therapy from my own money. I could afford like the bare minimum, whatever was the bare minimum. I could afford it. I won't say the therapist was extremely great, but she did a good job. So it's like halfway she did the job, halfway I did the job. So it was like balanced for me. That really helped me to understand a lot about myself, that what was I causing problem, what was the story that I was telling myself which I needed to let go, like a lot of stories that I needed to let go. But that helped me. And after a month or two, I just said that thing to my dad, that, you know what, I'm seeking therapy, and, I'm having issues because of all the things related to mom and all. So, as I said, he was very supportive. So he heard. He did not really be like, yes, go girl situation. But I guess there's only so much I can expect him to come to my path. So he was supportive. Like he listens everything that I share. So he listened. He asked how was I, like the progress was going. And eventually after a few months I stopped taking, because like the problem that was nagging me the most, that kind of subdued. um so that helped me to control my anxiety as well, like, really understand where I need to put a stop, and maybe divert my focus completely to something different, so that I don't go into the spiral loop. So if you're someone who is dealing with anxiety, A, just understand it's very normal. B, it can be a good friend of yours. C, yes, the loop is very hard, it's very difficult, but it is just your brain trying to prepare you for the worst. So, and the worst happens only 1% out of 100%. So just stop it right there, right? Stop it. Use any way of outlet. Again, getting back to the outlet that I was talking about, any way of outlet that you can. And it can be different for different times. For me, my outlet was I needed to cry it out. So sometimes I'll listen to music and cry it out. Sometimes I'll just play an instrument and do that. Sometimes painting helped me to do that. Sometimes writing helped me to do that. So it doesn't necessarily has to be writing. It can be something very different. So, just try things out and understand what works best for you, because in the end it's you above all. So do everything for yourself. Yeah. That,
I love it. So I have a question for you. You want to be the voice of the voiceless. Is that correct? Is that what I'm hearing?
yes, I want to be voice of the voiceless next generation. I would
Mhm.
specify to that. People who are teenagers, or people who are in early 20s, who feel like they want to find their life purpose at the age of 14. I'm like, if you found it out, that's good. But if you're not being able to find it out, it's okay. Like, just do what you like to do what you love. Your purpose is supposed to find you. You're not supposed to go and hunt in the world to find your purpose. Because these words are thrown around so much nowadays in social media, that my purpose is this, my purpose is that it again becomes like a pressure that you need to find your purpose. Your purpose is supposed to find you. Just do things that you love, even if it is unconventional, even if it is something that people around you don't understand, even if it is a light that nobody else has seen. That's okay. That's how inventions are made. That's how greatest people, exist in this planet. So, yeah.
I like that. Yeah, it's the way the light bulb was invented, and we're talking about light,
Exactly.
right? So,
Exactly.
and I love that. I love the concept of that your purpose will come to you, and to do the things you enjoy, even if they aren't conventional, even if it's not studying medicine. But what if it's being an artist? To be an artist, enjoy that part of you, because that is part of you. And to neglect or let go of that part is letting go of part of you. And it's not validating yourself. So, how are you helping those teenagers or those young 20 somethings to get their voice? What is it? Is it that you're giving them advice as you meet them, or are you doing something else?
Definitely, I'm giving them advices whenever I meet them. That's number A. B is I am starting up, like I'm working on the back end right now, but I'm planning to start my community on the local first because I feel out here is the maximum amount of requirement for that mindset change first. So I'm planning to go around and get people into small meetups and first understand what mindset are they currently at, like how good or how bad do they think about themselves. So really understand and meet them at their point and slowly and gradually help them build that thing up. So once I can help them up with their mindset, at least to some extent, because I'm no expert out here in mindset, I just share with my experience and my research that I've done. So once I can just help them up at least 30%, I become their backbone, and I send them to various resources, to various experts that I feel, even if they can afford or they cannot afford, a lot of things are available for free. So whatever unconventional they want to do, so suppose if they want to become artists, social media managers, or singers, whatever, so whatever I in my knowledge is the best resources, or at least best Instagram, Facebook, this, that, I try to send it to them, and I stay there as their backbone. So it's like whenever they feel like they're crumbling down, I can at least help them to lift it up. So yeah, that's what I'm planning to do by June. June is when I'm thinking to do my first meetup, and I'm planning to have a Facebook community as well, so that we can all lift each other up. And yeah.
Now, if you had one piece of advice to give somebody that may be going through what you've gone through, maybe the same culture or the same abuse or those voices, what would you tell them if they were sitting right next to you?
People will tell you to dim your light because it's uncomfortable to them. They are not habituated with the growth that you have, with the bright light that you have. That doesn't mean that you're no good. In fact, you have a much brighter light to share to the world. It's just that they are not habituated with it. So shine bright. Don't try to dim your light. It may take 2 years, or it may take 2 months, or it may take 2 days, but it will happen sooner or later. So just stick on and believe in yourself. You've got your back. You've got your back.
Okay, excellent advice. And if somebody would like to get in contact with you, how would they do that?
So I'm an email marketer. They can definitely contact me through my email. I am available on social media. They can contact me through my Instagram as well.
Can you spell your name for them to be able to, and tell them your email address and your Instagram?
Okay, so my Instagram is _POULOMIGHOSH _Poulomi Ghosh ___. And my email address is POULOMIGHOSH282 @gmail.com. That's Poulomi Ghosh 282 @gmail.com.
I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to talk with you today.
Same here. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for providing me with the opportunity.
Thank you, audience, for listening to Poulomi's story. And remember, there is a way through your difficulty. Please seek out resources and people who can and will help you. Now, if you're looking for alternative tools for handling difficult times or moving ahead in life, contact us at www.resiliency.coach. Hope you all have a blessed day and a wonderful life. Goodbye.